It's the most beautiful time of the year. It's autumn at the NPA Border. The daisies have come into their own and are really shining. We've got several different selections of chrysanthemum and aster. The standby gaillardias and coreopsis are taking summer into fall. And so many other things besides the daisies are doing their best. One of my favorite plants of late is this Nyphophia called Yellow Cheer. It's a very late bloomer. There was nothing going on this plant for most of the summer, but for the month of September, it has been in gorgeous bloom. There's a ton of new, young flower heads just starting to come up. We've got weeks, if not months, more of bloom left in this very frost-tolerant blooming Nyphophia. Ornamental grasses are somewhat of a given in the late summer and fall garden. Today we're showing you a nice selection of silvergrass or eulalia grass, Miscanthus sinensis flamingo. Not too big and does bloom reliably in late summer and fall here in a maritime climate. Autumn is a classic opportunity for gold and yellow to really shine, and what better than a nice goldenrod. This is Solidago rugosa fireworks. It's been around for a while and is a really good performer in the garden. This is by far my favorite. It's stiffly upright. It blooms quite late compared to the others when you really need a good splash of color. And it's so graceful and long blooming. Yes, it's a bit vigorous, but it's certainly not aggressive or a thug. Hardy fuchsias are a standby in Northwest gardens for their summer and autumn flower show. Earlier in late winter, early spring, we cut these back to the ground, and as you can see, they've rebounded nicely and are covered in dainty, pale pink flowers. Some of my favorite asters are the hybrid Fricardii types that, even though they're not as covered in flowers in the autumn as other species of asters, they've been blooming since the end of July and don't need a lot of pinching or support. They hold themselves up nice and neat in the garden. Chrysanthemums have gotten a good and a bad rap in gardens. Do look for ones that are truly perennial. There's a nice selection of them out there. Plant them in the spring if you want them to come back. The ivy-leaved cyclamen starts blooming in late summer, early fall, and will go for quite a while. And then the leaves last well into spring, right through the winter. The leaves come in several different selections. Some are mottled or silver or narrow or purple-backed, and the flowers can be anywhere from white to a good dark purplish red. Some are fragrant, some are not. All are good garden plants. Blue is the most difficult color to use in the garden, the most difficult color to find in a good, reliable plant. But here we have Salvia guarenetica, one of the sages. It's a good perennial, a little late to emerge in the spring, but by midsummer it's got these gorgeous, true blue flowers on it, right through well into October. A couple of hard frosts before it stops. Joe Pye weed, Eupatorium, this is the selection Gateway, is a wonderful plant if you've got the space. It is a bit of a big one. It does bloom quite late in the season and the flower heads look good for a long time. This particular stand, we pinched part of it back in early summer, and they're later blooming a little bit shorter, more but smaller heads, versus this side, which was just left to its own devices, so it bloomed a little bit earlier with larger heads but fewer of them. Here we have a variegated selection of the giant reed, Arundo donax. A lot of people are leery of it. It looks like bamboo, it's a thug, all of that. Trust me, the variegated one grows relatively slowly, and the architectural dramatic impact is well worth it. It doesn't seed in at all here. Perhaps a bit further south, I would question that. But here, it's a good, long season architectural plant.